Today in this video we're going to talk about how I look at and how I consider pulling up to a property, talking to a client for the first time, and meeting with them. This video is sponsored by LMN. Check them out, golmn.com. So when you get your appointment set at whatever time, be on time. That's the biggest thing. If you're going to be late, let them know you're going to be late. If you're going to be slightly early or really early, let them know and ask if that's acceptable. If you're running late, ask them, is it acceptable? I'm running late for whatever reason. You don't need, you may disclose that or not, but you can ask, is this acceptable? And so it shows consideration for their time as well as letting them know that you're running late, obviously. So once that's all cleared out, be on time, be punctual. When you pull up in the driveway or wherever, make sure it's in a spot in the driveway that's visible, as they can see who or what it is that pulled up, instead of maybe pulling off to the side or somewhere they can't see. You want to pull in somewhere that's convenient, but somewhere that is visible for the homeowner or the client to see where you're parked at. But I'm going to take the route that they've spent time and money on for me to use properly and not shortcut across grass. Now it's another thing if they're just already up there and you want to expedite that, but these are just little things the way I look at it. Do as you wish. Aside from, I always try to throw on a polo at least, even if I've been out working in the field. Try to throw on like a decent and presentable shirt or even a clean t-shirt. Now generally I'm going to have a notepad, and actually I'm going to clip my tape measure on. So I summon my gear, and I like these hard shell cases. I can keep my iPad in there and some other stuff, so I like these hard shell cases. But I'm going to walk up, I'm going to go up, I'm going to ring their doorbell and or knock in a good firm knock, but one that still sounds polite. I think that's important. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand back, and I'm going to stand however I stand, but so that my hands are visible and far enough back that if about any place they look, they're going to be able to see me. So that's very important to me, because I know if maybe they forgot it was an appointment or you're running early or whatever the case is, I'd like, and even just set my stuff down, and that way my hands are visible, so it's not threatening. If they walk up and you're doing this, or your hands are in your pockets or whatever, it can make people uncomfortable sometimes. So I like to have my hands visible at a relaxed pose and get ready to answer the door. And I still want to reiterate the fact of, even if you're out in the field working, try to keep a clean set of clothes with you. Even if it's just a clean shirt, it sure helps. Also, I'll throw on a tape measure, because generally I'm going to need it, but it also helps me look the part right immediately. It looks like we're ready to figure some things out, so I'm really big on that. Body language, and there's so much science to body language, it's really important that you try to, especially when you're having conversation, your face on your clients, a good polite stance, and don't be standing around like this, or just kicking the dirt and stuff like that. Stand and be at attention and listen to your client. Even if their kids are getting in things, be nice, say hi, exchange formalities there, but try to give the client your attention. Body language is a tremendous deal. I've noticed before when I'm looking like this and the client's trying to tell me something they're very concerned about, if I'm looking like this at it and they're telling me, I'm like, okay, yeah, I got you, so like they will, and watch this, you'll notice this in future interactions with people if you don't know to look for this stuff already. But that client will move, and they'll move into my direct frame of view to make sure they're getting their point across to me. So make sure your position is straight on, and especially if you need to be firm in something. Off at an angle a little bit, people tend to think that's a little more of an open stance, but if you're willing to make sure you're being direct, have your hips, where your hips are aligned is where the attention is going. So make sure that stuff is all in your frame of mind. Some really fantastic books and YouTube videos and stuff out there about reading body language. You can tell you a lot about what a client or anyone is thinking at the moment. With your thing, I generally will always have on me a tape measure, of course. I'd love to have an iPad for taking big photos of a potential project. That way I'm not loading my phone with a bunch of just work photos that are just generic blank properties. And also it's easier to look at this and recollect what exactly we're talking about. Or you can upload it to your computer, whatever. But I love having the iPad as a separate tool. It's a really handy thing. Marking paint and a marking wand is really handy if you're painting out proposals in the yard for potential layout area. A measuring wheel, also very handy. I like that as well. Let's see here. So after that, when it comes to time to present, it's really handy to have with, and this is the plug for LMN, but LMN has really great proposals, really great looking proposals that are very easily customizable and great contract terms. That alone is worth the first year of subscription, because of what it costs you in attorney's fees to document these otherwise, to have all your terms in here, which you can still edit it to your liking for your state, which I still recommend you have an attorney go over so they're applicable in your state. But having a good, clean, professional proposal to send to a client via email or in person, and closing the deal in person is always better, but takes a lot of time. Inform your client when they will see a proposal from them, get their email, any other contact information you need or want to have, and say generally a week to 10 days before we have a proposal back. The sooner the better. Execute, execute, execute. And discuss budget. That's another huge thing. Talk budget with that client. It's going to save you a lot of heartache. They should know if they're going to the Chevy store or the Mercedes-Benz store. And so, although Chevy and Mercedes are getting crazy anyhow, but you get what I'm saying with this is, what is our budget? Are we looking to spend $5,000 out here or $45,000? And it will help you in your proposals tremendously. If you come back with an $80,000 proposal and they're only thinking $5,000, you're going to have a lot of issues, and you're going to most likely waste all your time. If you come back with a $15,000 proposal and they want to drop $41,000, that's their budget, you're going to underperform. And so talking budget, it's a tough thing to do, and generally what I'll say is, have you met with anyone yet? Have you set any budget or any expectations of what a project like this might cost? And I don't care if it's a $1,000 project or if it's a $50,000 project. We're going to do our best to discuss budget. Or if, okay, one we did that was similar to this, we came in at about $30,000. It's a beautiful project with lighting, the whole bit. It was really phenomenal. I think that's about what we're going to run with something like this. Does that sound in the ballpark of what you're considering? And if it's not, and they have a heart attack, call 911, and then you might as well leave, because you're not going to be able to get them up to that without some major selling, or maybe they got it. It's hard to say, but that's why discovering a budget is really one of the most initial things you need to figure out, if not even in your pre-screening call. So consider all those things. Again, thanks to LMN, Landscape Management Network. It's a phenomenal estimating software, as well as time tracking for your guys, which we use the heck out of for that. It's probably our favorite thing about it. So thanks again to LMN. And check us out on all our social media, at Almond Landscape, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, everything. At Almond Landscape, and that's branding.
Almond Landscape. Like and subscribe.